From tariffs to inflation to record gold prices and major tech battles, the global economy is set for a very big week. Joining me now is Brad Garsworth from Unearthing Opportunities to break down what's happening and, of course, what comes next. Good to see you, my friend. Consumer spending remains strong despite tariffs. How long is that going to last?
Thanks, Mike. It's a great question. I mean, look, right now there's so many wild cards, but ultimately, I think you're going to see prices likely increase, and I think it's a sort of the necessary evil after you have these tariffs and the tariff war. So, the consumer's been quite strong. Economic numbers have been pretty good, but now, it's a wait and see to see what happens. Really, the outcomes from this tariff side.
Yeah, we're all on the edge of our seats watching the US right now. Gold just hit a record high. What's driving the surge, and will it continue is another question.
Yeah, no, I really like precious metals. I like gold in particular. And then even industrial metals are doing incredibly well. So on the industrial side, that's all really tariff driven just because of supply concerns. On the gold side, I mean, you have supply concerns, you have it as a safe haven. It's a great, asset class to be involved with in any of these negative scenarios down the road. It's a great hedge. I think gold is a must in people's portfolios, and I'm not surprised to see it with the trade and tariff issues and concerns. It makes sense that it's going to be hitting records, and I expect it to continue to do so.
Yeah, perhaps all that glitters is in fact gold. But what key economic indicators should investors be watching this week based on what you and your team are witnessing?
Yeah, so I mean, all eyes on inflation, Mike. I mean, everybody's paying very close attention. What will these numbers be? Will they see an uptick? The Fed's been pretty vocal about not and signaling that he's likely not going to hit this next meeting. But if inflation actually sort of comes down, there's a possibility that he does, maybe not next meeting, but the meeting after. If inflation continues to tick higher, I find it very hard to see the Fed cutting rates with higher inflation. And I think that's what we'll likely get. So, I mean, all eyes are on it. The other big number that I'm paying attention to, Mike, is on the employment side. The employment numbers aren't very good. And I think that's a concern that people aren't really talking that much about.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are people out there, of course, looking for jobs and wanting jobs, but whether or not there will be any remains to be seen. Now, to the tech side of things, OpenAI has rejected Musk's $97.4 billion bid. What's the real story behind that move?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of controversy here. I mean, one, this is Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, talks about this just being a distraction. But remember, if you look at what they just raised, OpenAI just raised the recent round at $157 billion. So this $95 billion number is basically just sort of a side jab. I don't think anybody really takes it seriously, given the fact they just raised an oversubscribed round at a valuation more than 50% higher than that Musk offer. So I don't think people believe it, taking it seriously. The company's worth a lot more. And then ultimately, I think Sam is trying to protect it from, keeping ChatGPT in the hands away from some of these people that might actually do some wrong things with it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how that one unfolds. So how could China's antitrust probe into Google reshape the global tech landscape if we take a look at that for a moment?
Yeah, Mike, and this is another thing that's, catching some attention on both sides here domestically in the US and now overseas. It's something we need to pay attention to because obviously the tariffs and the trade wars that we're having now with China, this brings up other issues. And now China's doing this probe into Alphabet. And, first of all, in mainland China, they don't even have access to a lot of Alphabet technology. It's using Baidu and some of their competitors. So it's interesting to see. I mean, I want to see more things follow through and see what actually happens. This isn't going to make a big difference for Alphabet. This shouldn't move the stock, and any weakness because of it is a buying opportunity.
Okay, great rundown from you as always, Brad. I want to thank you for joining us on the program. Look forward to speaking again very soon.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike.